hope you all are fit and fine and doing well in studies. So, this is your chemistry class and we are doing chapter number 3. The name of the chapter is Elements, Compounds and Mixtures. So, in the previous video, we have discussed about the classification of matter, that it is classified into two categories, pure substances and mixtures. And in the previous video, we have discussed about the pure substances, and today we will discuss about the first classification of pure substances, that is elements. Before starting elements, we will see some examples. You know very well that every matter is made up of atoms. For example, table salt and gold. These both are made up of million of atoms. Now, one question arises that can we split the table salt or can we split the gold? So, our answer is yes. We can split the table salt into two atoms, sodium and chlorine. But in case of gold, answer is no. We cannot split the gold atoms into two or more atoms because gold is made up of only one atom, that is gold. The symbol of gold is Au. Thus, we can say that the table salt is made up of two or more different atoms such as sodium and chlorine, while the gold is made up of only one type of atom. So, in chemistry we call it as an element, and on the other hand, table salt is called compound as it is made up of different atoms. So, now see what is an element. So, it is a pure substance which cannot be split up into two or more simple substances by any physical and chemical processes. For example, if you take a piece of gold and start cutting it down, then you will still get a smaller particle of gold. You can't get something else. So, we can say that we cannot split an element by any physical and chemical processes. Also, element is a pure substance. Students, you know very well that pure substances contain one type of atoms and that having same chemical properties. And every element is denoted by its symbol. For example, carbon symbol is C, hydrogen symbol is H and oxygen symbol is O. So, you should also know that there are 118 elements and these elements further divided in periodic table into metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. So, we can say that elements are further divided into the four categories such as metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. So, first of all we will discuss about the metals and non-metals. So, what are the metals? Metals are hard and shiny material which exist in the solid state at room temperature. They are also electropositive in nature. Here is the word electropositive. It means the tendency of an atom to lose the electron and form a cation. So, metals always form cation. So, now let us see what are the non-metals. So, non-metals are opposite to that of the metals. Like non-metals are soft and dull material, exist in solid and gaseous state. They are electronegative in nature. Electronegative means the tendency of an atom to gain the electron and form an anion. So, non-metals they form always anion. So, now let us see some physical properties of metals and non-metals. First one is luster. So, all metals in the pure form they show shine, means they have luster, they have metallic luster. But on the other hand, non-metals they are dull in nature, so they do not have any type of luster. So, look at the next property, that is hardness. So, try to cut iron with knife. Is it possible? No, it is not possible. But why? Because metals are hard in nature. So that's why we cannot cut them with knife. But on the other hand, if we try to cut the rubber, then it is easily cut by the knife. So non-metals are soft. So the next property is malleability. So for this we will perform an activity. Take an iron nail, coal, aluminium wire and lead and try to beat them with the help of hammer. Then what will you observe? You observe that iron nail and aluminium, they change their shape after beating, and coal and lead, they break into pieces. So we can say that when we beat the metal, then it will changes into the thin sheets. So this property is called malleability, means beaten into thin sheets. So the next property is ductility. So first of all, what is ductility? Ductility is the ability to be drawn into wires. So mostly the metals are ductile in nature. They are drawn into thin wires like aluminium, copper and iron. These are drawn into thin wires. But on the other hand, non-metals are non-ductile. If we try to make their wires, then they will break. Next property is sonority. Now what is sonority? Means the property of producing ringing sound. So when a substance struck with another hard substance, then there is a production of sound. This is called sonority. So metals are sonorous in nature, but non-metals are non-sonorous. Next property is conduction of heat. If we apply heating on the one side of the iron rod, then we will observe the rise in temperature on the other hand side also. Thus we can say that metals conduct heat, whereas non-metals does not conduct heat. So due to this non-conduction nature, we used to form the handles of cooking utensils with non-metals. So the next property is conduction of electricity. Let us learn it with an activity. Connect a circuit as shown and check the bulb whether it is on or not. So for this you have to take iron nail, sulfur, coal piece and copper wire. Then you will observe their conductivities. First of all, take an iron nail. Now check bulb is on. So it is good conductor of electricity. With sulfur, bulb is not on. So it is bad conductor. With coal piece, bulb is again not on. Then it is also bad conductor of electricity. With copper wire, bulb is on. So it is good conductor of electricity. So hence we can say that metals like iron and copper, these are good conductor and non-metals are bad conductor of electricity. Next we will see the exceptional cases in case of metal. First one is mercury and gallium, they are liquid at room temperature, but we learned that metals are solid at room temperature. Second point is sodium and potassium, they are the soft metals, but we know that metals are hard in nature. Third one is zinc is neither malleable and ductile. We know that metals show malleability and ductility, but zinc is an exceptional case. Next one is tungsten is a poor conductor of electricity, but metals are good conductor of electricity. Next we will see the exceptional cases in case of non-metals. First one is graphite has a luster and it is a good conductor of heat and electricity, but these are the properties of metal, not a non-metal. So this is an exceptional case. Second one is iodine has luster, but non-metals are dull in nature. So this is again an exceptional case. Next is bromine is liquid at room temperature, but we know that non-metals are solid and gases at room temperature. Now let us see the next classification of element, that is metalloid. So the element which shows the property of both metals and non-metals, they are called the metalloid. So here blue colored elements are metal, yellow are non-metal and green are metalloids. Now let us see the example of metalloid. Like boron, it shows the property of metal, like it is lustrous and solid at room temperature, as well as it also having high boiling and melting point. On the other hand, it also shows the property of non-metals, like it is poor conductor of electricity and heat. So we can say that boron shows the properties of both the metals and non-metals. So we can say that boron is a metalloid. Another examples are silicon, arsenic, germanium, antimony, tellurium and polonium. These all are the metalloids. So the next classification is noble gases. These are present in the periodic table in 18th group, and these are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. So these are the noble gases. Also in case of noble gases, the outermost electronic shell is filled. Means in case of helium there are the 2 electrons, and in case of other noble gases each having 8 valence electrons. So they have completely filled shell, which makes them very stable element, so they could not react with the other elements. Next we will see the characteristics of noble gases. First one is they are gaseous in nature. Second one is they are chemically less reactive. Third one is they occur in free state in air and in atmosphere in small amounts. And the last one is they exist as monoatomic, means they exist as a single atom.